Talkies today on the 24th of October at 6 p.m. Finally, we are live with a great panel here. But more interestingly, we have the co-hosts here who are nothing but our 10-year-old makers from Thane and Chennai who would like to have a one-on-one or a panel discussion with our guest of honor today, our prestigious jury panel also, who are here in support of the National Coding and Robotics Challenge. All right, so before I go ahead and completely tell you about what NCRC is, let me introduce you the co-hosts for today who are taking the panel discussion forward. So Balaji Venkatesh is joining us here from Thane. Would you like to introduce yourself, please?
Yes, my name is Balaji Venkatesh. I am from Thane and I challenge my fellow Indians to participate in the NCRC competition.
Super. So Venu, would you like to introduce yourself, please?
Yeah, I'm Venu from Chennai. I challenge every one of you to participate in NCRC.
Super good. So here we have two fellow makers who have taken on the drive to impact the fellow Indians in terms of the awareness of the robotics and coding challenge, or rather the awareness of tech education itself, and would like to host two techopreneurs today as part of the Techie Talkies Edition 1. All right, so I think enough is said. I'll let the co-hosts take over. So Balaji, would you like to introduce Mr. Covid Savla to the audience?
So our first honorary guest is Mr. Covid Savla. He is the co-founder and CEO of Ediva, which is AI. Which is a company that produces AI. I mean to say, which has a lot of which has a lot of scope in AI. So digital space. So Mr. Covid has actually worked with the Indian government because he thinks that the Indian government has to work more efficiently to beat other countries. So he has actually worked with our Mumbai police of the wireless connection department. So Mr. Covid has also had a new launch. Congratulations, Mr. Covid, for an e-pass that he has invented for the COVID workers to use.
Wow, that's great. Mr. Covid, would you also like to continue with Balaji's introduction? Probably to give us all an idea of what Third Eye is all about.
Okay. Thanks a lot, Balaji. So, hi, this is Covid. I'm from Kota, Rajasthan, and academically, I'm an electronics and communication engineer. And as a profession, I'm founder and CEO of Edivic Technologies. And our core motto is to enhance government or enhance policing by providing real-time information and data to police department, and to reduce their manpower and do a lot of automation in that arena. So that we did. And for the e-pass system, yes, for Maharashtra state, we have created an e-pass system, and we during the lockdown, we helped the essential providers and the people in emergencies to move during the lockdown. Actually, to be honest, we helped around 40 lakh people to move intercity or outside the city. So, thanks.
That's great. Thank you so much, Mr. Covid. That's really honorable. Venu, would you like to introduce Havish to the audience here?
Mr. Havish is founder and director of infection labs, and I don't know much about him.
That's okay. Great. So he's one of the as you saw, he has an outstanding passion for solving problems. An industrial robotics enthusiast. His solar panel cleaning robot actually takes after our own legendary Spark. Very same spelling, in fact. All right. So that's how I would say SP community and Havish himself is connected. All right. Havish, would you like to do this deed?
Hi guys, thank you so much. That's a great introduction, Venu, and I love your honesty. Thank you so much. Not many know about me. I myself don't know much about me, so I got you, buddy. Yeah, I'm the founder and CEO of Infliction Labs. Infliction Labs is a robotics company. We're a company with a mission to design and develop real-time solutions to real-world problems, automation solutions to real-world problems, and that's where we are at. We are 7 years old, and our flagship product is Spark, which is solar panel autonomous cleaning and continuance, which is basically robotic cleaning of solar panels in big solar fields and solar farms. Apart from that, we have done a lot of industrial robotics, and we keep doing a lot of industrial robotics. And that's about it.
Super. Thanks a lot, Havish. So enough said about what we are here to discuss. In fact, so I think I'll let the stage be taken over by the co-hosts. Balaji and Venu have a lot of quizzing, thoughts, curiosity in their minds, and are all curious to ask and have Havish and Covid answer their thirsty questions. So over to you, Balaji. Would you like to start off the question with Havish or Mr. Covid?
So I would like to start out the question for this is applicable to both of them. The first question. So I want to know that how did Mr. Havish and Covid Savla get interested in robotics and later on choose it as a career?
Mr. Covid or Havish, which of you would like to start?
I think okay, let me start. Okay, so it's kind of like I was always a natural curious people like you only. So only thing, my focus like Havish was on obviously on real-time projects. So I just not go into robotics or in coding just for creating something, but it must have some impact. It should help somebody to achieve something. So let's say I created 1 or 2 projects for helping education department become a little more efficient and convert a simple school into a smart school. So there must be an application. So that's why I just keep inventing these things, and I have a little bit of teamwork and leadership capacity. That's why I am able to create a team, and that's why I founded this company, and now trying to make our government, mostly police department, as more efficient using AI and automation, some part of machine learning, mostly data analytics. And over to you, Havish.
Thank you so much. So for me personally, solving a problem is like an addiction, right? It's like solving a Rubik's Cube. Once you have a Rubik's Cube, there's no way you can't not solve it. It has to be completed. So solving a problem has always been an addiction, and machine building has been my passion. So we combine the two together, build a machine to solve a problem, and that's how our passion with machines and robotics started. I've been building machines for almost 15 years now. Small, simple machines to big industrial machines. That's about it. It just happened per chance, I should say. So there's always a problem to solve. There's always a machine that needs to be built. We just put the two together. Voila, robotics.
That was really inspiring, Mr. Havish and Mr. Covid.
Thank you so much, Balaji. Venu, would you like to take it over and ask your questions to either or both of them?
Yeah. First, I would like to ask Mr. Code Savla.
Sure. So, guys, for those of you who don't know, so Venu had like a proper document plus research done on either of them, and has choreographed the questions also accordingly. So I'm sure he's taking his document referring to it. Yes, Venu, go on.
Yeah. Why did you study programming?
Okay, so like I have already said, Venu, I just wanted to solve a problem, and programming is just a tool to solve a problem, which is kind of what the smart people like you can do using your brain. So I am able to put I can guide a machine to do something by a click of buttons or something like that. I can find a new process to do some task. So that's why I think when I started working on programming, I came to know it is one of the most powerful thing ever created in, I think, humankind. So, and it is going to change the entire world. So programming is something which is passion for almost every engineer, so every entrepreneur right now. So that's why I learned it as a very powerful tool to solve all the major problems of the world right now. And like I told you, I am able to create a lot of social impact also with this program. So that's how it. Hopefully, I answered your question, right?
Yeah, you did.
Okay.
Thank you.
Do you have anything to add on to it?
For me, yeah, well, interesting enough. See, the world works on programming. Me, you, all of us, we work on programming, but it's a different kind of programming. We call it social programming, right? So we as humans created this virtual world, right, of machines. How do we conduct that world? That world needs its own programming, and that's how we chanced upon programming.
Cool. Just one thing alone, Havish, can you like come closer or have your mic closer because we're not able to hear you properly.
Oh my God! Can you hear me now?
Yeah, much better.
Yeah, I can scream out my lungs, but
Please.
I'm just trying to hold back.
Alright. Great. So, Venu, I think you can proceed and thank either of them, and then we'll move on to Balaji's questions.
Yeah, thank you for answering my question.
Balaji, would you like to take the lead? Or Mr. COVID has a question for either of you. Sorry, COVID, I think you're on mute.
Now I was just creating this to Venu.
Okay.
Okay.
Sure. Balaji, I think you can start off with the question.
So my question is that why can't the coding languages like Java, etc., be written in Sanskrit, Hindi, or any other Indian language?
Okay, if I have to answer, then it's not that we cannot create it or it cannot be done. It can always be done. And obviously, when you told me Sanskrit, I appreciate Sanskrit a lot because it is, I think, the oldest, most standard grammatical language ever created by a very high-level scholars. So it's a very scientific language also when you do deep research about it. So what does exactly the programming language do? They just are a tool to teach a machine to do something. So how can I teach Sanskrit to machine? So I have to create an interpreter, let's say, that understands Sanskrit to machine readable language. Then I need an assembler which can convert into bit language which machine understand, like 1001 and everything. So we have to create the assembler, we have to create this compiler or interpreter, and obviously we can create it. We're done.
Balaji, why don't you do it? It will be a project for your lifetime. It will be fantastic.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. COVID, for answering my question.
Great. So, Venu, would you like to start off?
Yeah, this question is for Mr. Havish. And on the internet, it said that you are good at event planning and physics. Can you please tell us how such diverse areas you are interested in?
So basically, you will understand what I'm about to say when you get to your +2 stage, right? So there's a saying, I'm an engineer, right? In engineering, there's a saying, you understand what you want after you complete engineering, right? So an engineer can be anything. He can be trained to be anything. That's the power of an engineer. So I tried a lot of things as an engineer, and I supervise volunteers at Bangalore Comic Con regularly. I've been doing it for a long time now. I have been part of the local theatre circuit since my school days. That's like, it's been 18 years now, and that's how all these things made me me. That's me.
Okay.
By the way, don't read
Thank
my
you.
Facebook posts, huh? They're very anti-incumbent and very politically oriented. So don't read my Facebook posts. Sir. It's not for young minds like you.
You're talking to makers, Havish. Okay, even before you thought they would have gone, they would have completed the research.
I'm just saying, don't believe what I'm saying on Facebook.
Too late. Too late. Our makers are always a step ahead than any other average 10-year-old. Great. So Venu, are you done with your question, or you want to have one more with Mr. COVID? Venu, can you hear me?
Yeah, I have some more questions, but I'll ask some more questions for them.
Now or later?
Yeah, I'll ask them now. I'll ask one question each.
Sure, ask.
Yeah, first the question for Mr. Kovid Savla.
Yeah.
I read your interest on how to solve social problems with digital technologies. Please let us know your ideas.
Okay. So I think out of frustration I did that. So whenever I went to any of the government department, let's say you want to create a license, you want to create an ID. So I was just moving like 5 times and waiting for 2 hours or 3 hours, and I was like fed up. Here the country is moving so fast and you are the slowest citizens in the country. So I said, yeah, you have made me work a lot hard and I will make life harder for you. I will compel you to work more efficiently. So that's why I to the government, I actually inspired them, motivated them that it will save your work. You are already working like 2 hours in a day. I will make it 1 hour in a day. So let's shorten your work and let's machine do all the work. So I created a lot of software and automation and AI related software. So
At least the work will be done, huh?
yeah, definitely. And it will definitely impacting everyone. We are all impacted by government. So
Havish, it's not Facebook. Not Facebook.
right. So ultimately, when our government works better, government is essentially a welfare organization. Security is their department in the welfare. It's not more than that. So it should work efficiently. So the security and the welfare should work fast and rapid. So that's what I'm doing.
Okay. Yeah. So one last question to Mr. Havish.
Okay.
What computer language do you know? Languages. Computer.
I know a lot of languages. I know C, I know embedded C, C#. I worked with PLSQL, MySQL, and Python and Java scripting.
The
I
Havish.
know the entire LAMP bundle. I know a lot of languages.
The
So
Havish.
basically, I'll tell you what.
The Havish Venu wouldn't have answered straight to that question. He would have in turn asked Venu something else.
Yeah, that's okay. I'll tell you what. How many languages do you know? Like, forget computer language.
I know embedded C and Python.
No, forget computer. Forget computer science. How many languages do you know that humans speak?
As I told before, I know French, English, and
Tamil, right?
Tamil.
So let us say you have to say something in I don't know, Russian or Arabic. What do you need? You just need a dictionary, right? As long as you know what you want to say, all you need is a dictionary. So it doesn't matter how many languages you learn. As long as you know how to solve a problem, As long as you know how to write an algorithm, all you need is just a syntax. That's all. You just need an instruction manual. So don't focus on how many languages you learn. Focus on designing algorithms, right? Algorithm is a step-by-step procedure to solve a problem. Focus on problem solving and designing algorithms. You can master any language.
Yeah.
Yeah, COVID had something to say.
No, I was actually, you are very correct with the algo part is more important than learning how many languages. So it doesn't matter anymore which language you work on, but what you create is what matters.
True. Very true. So Venu, that answers the question. We'll move on to Balaji's questions now.
Yeah.
Perfect. Balaji, shoot.
So my question is that why the symbols like curly braces, curly braces and etc. Why a semicolon? Why are they so important to the coding language? This is a question for Mr. Havish.
So if you consider English language, there are punctuation marks, right? There is a comma, there is a full stop, even English has a semicolon. What does a full stop signify?
A full stop signifies a stop of a sentence.
Correct, completion of a sentence. What does a comma signify?
What, sir?
Comma signify.
A comma signifies
Balaji, you went on mute.
a comma signifies that there are more things like suppose
Correct.
you need to specify more.
Comma signifies a pause. After you
Yes.
pause the sentence and take a breath and then continue, right? Similarly,
Yes.
there's a hyphen. So many things like that. So similarly, in programming, that's why we call programming language. It is a language. It has got grammar of its own. It's got punctuation marks of its own as well. So semicolon, colon, flower braces, square braces, parentheses, all these are grammar of that language. They are used to tell the machine, or mostly the compiler, the interpreter, as to what ends where and what starts where. For instance, a semicolon says that this instruction is done. Stop this. Go to the next instruction. That's about it.
Thank you, sir.
Have I answered your question?
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. Sir, so my next question is to Mr. Kovid Savlam. My question is that why is the Arduino board only programmable in C++ or C+++?
Okay.
Plus.
So, okay. So it's not that it's only programmable. It can be programmed in other language also. But C++ is kind of a very structured and a little quite old. It was kind of first high-level language created for the machines. So as the electronics come into the world, and there was electronics boom, so most of the devices started working on microcontroller, especially most of the devices which have a singular function, or let's say one or two function. So the designing a microcontroller was quite easier in C, embedded C and everything. So that's why most of the boards use this language. But obviously, if you are creating a computer or microprocessor or little bit more complicated software, you may not rely on the C++. You will have to add more languages into it. So,
Tell you what, Balaji. When you design the compiler for Sanskrit, I will make the Arduino architecture compatible with your compiler. It's my promise.
Wow.
So you can program it in Sanskrit as well. What's it?
Whoa. Okay.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kovid Savla and Mr. Havish. So my next question is to Mr. Havish. Why are the concept of gears and pulleys so important to understand the fundamentals of robotics?
Very good. Actually, an extraordinary question. Oh, wonderful. Okay, now I'm thinking where to start. Are you familiar with levers? Simple levers?
Yes, sir.
Correct. So what is a simple lever?
Sir, can you tell it again?
What is a simple lever?
Simple liver. Sir, actually, I don't remember. I had studied this a long time ago in my old.
Fourth class में study किया था भैया.
No, sir.
Fifth class, third class maybe. Yeah. So, simple lever is a simple machine that has load, force, and fulcrum. Remember? Seesaw. Correct. Load, force, fulcrum. है ना? So, that is a simple machine. Now, why is this machine useful?
So this machine is useful for like sir, now you justified like you took phone in your hand and then slid it side by side. So this is to like show the balance of if it is like it is a very basic fundamental used in seesaws. So it is like you have to keep it balanced, otherwise the other one will fall.
Yeah, but I'm asking you more specific question. Now let us say there is a stone, there's a big rock
Yes, sir.
that it is hard to push. But
Yes, sir.
if you have a crowbar, you're familiar with the crowbar?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Yeah, a big bar. So it will become easier to work, right?
yes, sir.
So that is the point of a machine. The point of a machine is to make work easier, right?
Okay, sir.
Deliver lot of force to the load efficiently. That is where pulleys and gears come into picture, right? Most of the machines in robotics use motors, correct?
Yes, sir.
So what are motors used for? Motors are used to move things
Yes,
in
sir.
whatever direction, sometimes circular, sometimes angular, sometimes whatever direction, right?
Yes, sir.
Now, a motor is this small, a load is usually big.
Yes,
So
sir,
an
yes.
amount of force that the motor can deliver is limited.
Yes.
So to transfer that force, we use gears and pulleys.
Okay,
To
sir.
put it in one line, we use gears and pulleys for torque transfer and RPM transfer.
Okay, sir.
Okay,
Okay, sir.
understood?
Yes, sir.
So simply put, if there is one motor that if you're trying to move a big wheel with it, it might be hard. But if you can multiply it with gears and pulleys, it will be easier, and the load on the motor will reduce. That will reduce your current consumption, that will reduce your motor heating, that will increase the efficiency of the motor.
Yes, sir. But as you said about the motor gears, so sir, what if the lower? Suppose the motor's energy is about 5 volts, and it needs to move a big rubber tire, not a car, but just a rubber tire. How can it move when the suppose the motor is only this small and the gear is this big?
Now, again, size of the motor does not really matter, but it does to an extent. There is math behind. There's a lot of maths. There are a lot of equations that you can solve to figure out the torque of a motor against the RPM of a motor, using which you can design gears and pulleys.
Okay, sir.
So to turn a rubber wheel, as you said, to turn a rubber tire, it requires a certain amount of energy,
Yes, sir.
right? So if we already have a motor, we know how much energy it is giving at the shaft.
Yes, sir.
Using mathematics, we can calculate what is the amount of energy needed and what is the kind of gear that we need to design in order to drive this big rubber tire with that small motor that you have.
Okay, sir.
Actually, right, now there are many online tools available. You can just go online, just type torque transfer tool, RPM transfer, gear design tool. Just Google it. You get a lot of online tools. You just enter the data there. You get how many gears you want, what is the gear design you have to incorporate, everything you get online. It's pretty easy, right?
Okay, sir. So my next question is Mr. Kovic Salva. Savla, sorry, sir. Sir, so my question is that your EPAS, I couldn't find more articles about it, but the EPAS that you invented, I assume that it is usually on a phone?
Okay. First, complete your question, right?
So I think that it's usually on a phone. So sir, what can we do when if like a phone is stolen? How is the essential worker, the worker who has the e-pass, supposed to do it?
Right. Okay. So let's say how we actually did it. Let me just give you a brief. Raigad police has been our old customer already. You know Raigad. So what was the problem? The lockdown was a new problem, and police has new challenge how they can distinguish essential service vehicles and private vehicles. So what they started doing it, let's say each and every police station, you can go to police station and you have to take a pass and everything. But if you are doing that, you are physically moving to a place and everybody is going to police station, then there is no social distancing and everything. And if let's say there are 1100 police stations in Maharashtra, if all this data is present offline, how they can work? So for 2-3 days, government was quite unsure what to do. So what we did, an experiment with Raigad police. Sir, let's do one thing. I will give you a tool where you can see all the applications from citizens, from providers with their data, and you can approve and reject online. Whether they can fill from their mobile phone, their laptop, or they can come to police station. If they are not very tech people or they are poor people, they can go to police station. Police station can fill the form on their own. So you will have a digital data, and approval rejection would be very fast. Let's say if it's an emergency, you can get passed in within 1 hour. That was very important. So we started with Raigad. The next day, the IG of Konkan region liked it. They opened it into 5 districts. Next is the DIG of state liked it very much, so they asked us to prepare for all of the Maharashtra for all the 45 districts. So can you hear me right now? Because my internet is little slow, right?
We can hear you, but your frame is frozen.
Okay. Sorry. I'm just removing my video because I think I might have exhausted my internet. So that's how actually it's not depend on the phone. Now it was a QR based system. So
I think Mr. Poet has
He dropped off.
in his internet connection. Yep. COVID, are you able to hear us?
let me switch my internet. Give me 2 minutes, okay?
Okay. Sure. Balaji, meanwhile, if you have another question for Havish, till Mr. COVID joins, he'll continue with the e-pass question. All right?
Okay, so I have another question for Mr. Havish. So the question is that why can't we insert Arduino boards into solar panels?
Because solar panels are not programmable.
Sir, actually, I meant to say like solar panels are not programmable, but for example, like the Mars rover, it has because of the dust, it has been covered. So like that, from the inside, if you would put an Arduino inside an solar panel, it could clean from the inside. It could send information that this is happening. Should I clean now? So Arduino boards are much more efficient from other production robots. So why doesn't it happen like Arduino boards are inserted into solar panels?
First of all, solar panels already have they have separate hardware that we use to monitor their health and see how much energy they are generating constantly. That hardware is already available. It's not Arduino; it's a better board. There is better hardware that is commercially available that is used, and that addresses the problem that you said, which is that it tells whoever is monitoring that whether the panel is generating or not, how much it is generating at what point of time. And it also keeps the log of report and stuff like that. Now, when it comes to cleaning, how can you clean how can you do a physical job virtually? Now can you touch the camera?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, just touch the camera. Touch the camera lens. Now, did you touch my face?
No, sir.
So it doesn't work, right? For a physical job, you need a physical device. It's as simple as that. You can't do a physical job virtually. That won't be a physical job. It will be a virtual job. So dust is a very physical, very existing particle that exists in space. Solar panel is a physical object. Dust sits on solar panel. To remove this, you need some physical force. So that's how Curiosity recovered. There was a big storm that got it dusty, and there was another big wind that cleaned the solar panel to whatever level it cleaned. That's about it.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Great.
But on that note, there's actually one technology that people are researching on, and there's a lot of research going on, which is to make the solar panels anti-static. Right? So why dust sits on the glass is because of static electricity. You know static electricity? Yeah. So they are working on making the solar panel anti-static using using PV effect inside. They are trying to make the glass anti-static so the dust does not sit there. It does not adhere onto the glass. It comes on the glass and just slides away because of the anti-static nature of the glass. So that is being worked on, but not as straightforward as you said. It's not just using an Arduino. It's a different kind of material.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Great. Thanks, Avijay. I think it's really interesting, what they're doing with static electricity. So, Balaji, so do you have any further questions before we conclude the session?
Ma'am, Mr. Kovid Savla hadn't answered my question.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Okay. So I was there once it was approved by the IG or additional DGP of Maharashtra. Let's use it. It's a very simple and very effective platform. And it was easy to monitor for us because if you are moving with a pass system, you will get the pass on your SMS. You can click on it and the pass would appear. The QR code would be there. If police scan it, all the information will appear there for the verification. So it was not depending on the phone. And actually this was kind of much easier than any other system in India, any other e-pass system. So we got quite a lot of reputation. In fact, I was called by one very senior IAS officer. He's owner of Maharashtra State Innovation Society. Maybe Havish or somebody might have heard about it, MSINS. So he congratulated us, and so that's how actually all kind of innovation works. You got a problem, you get an idea, and if just try to do something about it. Even if it fails, just try to do something about it. It might work out.
Okay, thank you very much, sir.
That's, I think, you being I would say, a current techopreneur or tech entrepreneur, and you interacting with fellow makers who are possible entrepreneurs itself, I think would be, the inception of such a seed, right? So thank you so much. So Balaji or Venu, before we conclude, do you have any further questions that you would like to ask Havish or Kovid here?
No, ma'am.
All right. Venu, do you have any other questions?
No, I don't have any questions.
All right, done. So guys, thank you so much. As I already had mentioned, the aim of what we are doing with the NCRC or National Coding and Robotics Challenge is to ensure that we promote the awareness of the need for the best of the best and applied tech education, not just oriented towards marks or books, but more towards becoming solution providers or problem solvers, right? And today we met with two such problem solvers, or I would say current, creators who founded, their companies in the passion of their fields. One in terms of industrial robotics, solving, different problems for different industries. Mr. Kovid, representing ADVite, I would say, very focused and, I would say an aim to promote and in fact make the efficiency of the current, government system better. I think the e-pass is something that no Indian has not, had their, brush against, and his idea and his innovation in that space has definitely touched every single Indian out there. So thank you so much, Havish and COVID. And more importantly, a big thanks, for more importantly having to interact with our fellow makers. All right, and thank you so much for your support. Before we conclude, any few words from the either of you, COVID and Havish? COVID?
Okay. So actually, whenever I talk to enthusiastic people like you, like Balaji and Venu, and lots of you, I see myself in my youth somewhat, because I have always been curious, and just you have to learn 2-3 things apart from what your school teacher will say. Don't make mistakes. I would suggest you to make as many mistakes as you want. Doesn't matter. I have lost much more than I have won. Let's say I have been a martial artist, so I lost 30 of my fights, but I won 20 of my fights. So I have 20 medals to show my parents. Yes, I have won. So that's how every entrepreneur like Havish might have lots of sad story behind his happy face. And so things are not that difficult, but don't go back with making mistakes. Just keep making mistakes and learn and keep innovating.
Yeah.
That's all.
Thank
To
you.
add to that, when he says make mistakes, don't make illegal mistakes, okay? It is
Otherwise,
it is to
working
try
with police.
something. Yeah, it is to try something, right? And fail. So failing is okay. That is what he meant when he said make mistakes. Don't worry about failing. Don't be scared about failing. That is point number one. So yeah, as he said, keep innovating and be at it. You won't get success overnight. Anything you get overnight, it's not permanent. It's not going to stay. Consider it is gone. It is just it's not there. It's not permanent. So you have to be at it. You have to be very, very obsessed about whatever you're trying to do, and only then you can get through this journey of making. Thank you so much for the opportunity. I'd like to thank SP Robotics Works. You're doing a great job. Thank you so much for this opportunity. It's always fun and it's rejuvenating to talk to young people. They keep us updated.
Yep.
We don't know what is happening in the world. We are stuck with what we're doing. And when we talk to young people, they really
We are
jump
very
us up.
old generation in
Yeah,
terms of.
So we need this to jumpstart our own head.
Right.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.
Our aim is that we have our budding makers turn into the future or current techopreneurs also. In fact, even with the NCRC, right? So even the 100 finalists. So out of the 5,000 registered participants, the top 100 finalists actually get to participate in a 3-day seminar cum workshop plus an entrepreneurship program by TiE Chennai at IIT Madras Research Park. So we are trying to have our makers get benefited, not just the winners as such, but all the 100 finalists.
That's good. We need more makers. Winning or losing doesn't really matter. It's just winning or losing is just context, right?
Right.
It's just context. It is like Sachin scoring a century or Dhoni scoring a century. just because Dhoni gets out on a 0 or Kohli gets out on a 0 doesn't mean they're losers.
Correct.
It's just a bad day. That's all.
Exactly. Yes. So we aim to have at least 100 makers, who become 100 finalists, right from the ages 7 to 16, and hopefully Balaji and Venu have a great shot at it. So you could always wish them all the best, to both of them, as well as the rest of the makers who are taking part as part of National Coding and Robotics Challenge.
All the best to both of you,
Yeah.
Balaji and Venu.
We wish you good luck to all your future endeavors, not just the challenge. Good luck for your challenge and be at it. All the best for you for everything. Stay safe, stay careful. These are trying times.
Sure. Thanks a lot. Thank you so much. So before we conclude, just like a good screenshot, so all of you thumbs up or this or whatever.
Yeah.
Great.
This is Balaji's Simple, right?
So Balaji,
Balaji, do it.
Havish, you're not seen. Okay, now you're seen. Yeah, still you're not seen. Why are you hiding? Oh, okay, understood. Now I understood. Great. So thank you so much, guys. It's been a pleasure hosting all of you. I think more than me talking. I think you had a ball talking to Balaji and Menu, representing the community. So hopefully we'll get you on board. By the way, these two are also part of the jury, Balaji and Menu. I reserved it for the end of the discussion. So you know who's going to select the finalists. All right. Keeping you updated. All right. So great, guys. Thanks a lot. Have a great day and see you again. All right. Ta-ta, bye-bye.
Yeah.
Bye bye.
Thanks,
Have
Aarti.
fun.
Bye-bye.
Good
Bye.
luck. Stay safe.
Bye.